Subscribe to Film Companion for your film fix. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.
I'm recording a story and Ma is in the background. Ma gets annoyed like मैंने gown पहना हुआ है पुराना वाला, मेरे बालों में color नहीं लगा है, and you're taking me in your video. Do you have no shame? You have done nothing. You care about us. So this keeps happening. Because I see everyone's stories and I'm so jealous. I'm like, hey, इसको एक और lipstick मिल गई. I don't get anything. I don't get anything.
Prajakta, welcome to Film Companion. Welcome to my show.
Thank you, Sneha. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It is 100% my pleasure.
Listen, I just watched Khayali Pulao. It's been a month since you dropped it on your YouTube channel. It's 3 million views. That's a blockbuster if there was one. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What did you think of the film though? I want to know what you thought.
I really enjoyed it and I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But almost immediately, you've also announced that you are now going to be on Netflix with Mismatched.
Yeah.
So should I just go ahead and call you like lockdown productivity queen for the rest of this interview at least?
I think you should call me lockdown timing queen because productivity to ye sari maine last year kar liye. None of this was shot now. And it is so funny how I actually shot this Netflix show. Literally, like I finished shooting Mismatched 2 days before I started shooting for Khayali Pulao. It was literally like that. I think end of November, I wrapped Mismatched in Rajasthan. I flew back and the day after I flew back to Haryana because we were shooting Khayali Pulao. It just happens that Khayali Pulao came out before Mismatched. But both those shows, I mean, both of that, all of that was done from November to December last year. That's it. Like everything wrapped there. And now, so productivity though I finished last year only.
So you very much needed this lockdown. I want to ask you, what is your current frame of mind? How are you doing? Are you wearing pants? What stage of lockdown are you in? Ooh!
अरे आज ना मेरे घर पे गौरी पूजन होता है. So every year we have Gauri Pujan at our place, and for me that is the event of the year. So the only event that I plan for, like I usually don't care what I'm gonna wear, you know, what I'm gonna do with my hair and how's my makeup, what's my jewelry. I don't care about all of that for anything else. But Gauri Pujan wale din pe jo ghar pe puja hoti hai na, it is one of my favorite things that happens in the whole year. So I had like a lot of plans. I was gonna wear a sari and all of that in the evening. I might just actually. But because of COVID, we are not able to like call anyone home. We don't have friends and family visiting. This is also one of those times when I actually get to meet my people because I'm home. Iसीलिए I'm wearing pants. This is my way of saying कि मैं थोड़ी सी ready हुई हूँ. But frame of mind is extremely. I'm going to be very honest with you. The lockdown has sort of been like a roller coaster overall. When it comes to productivity, when it comes to overall just being. I was very happy the way it started, where I was like, yay, I was creating a lot more content also. Yeah. Because last year was super hectic, touchwood, not complaining. There was a lot of travel. Even in the first 2 months of this year, we did 2 YouTube original shows. You know, we were traveling and there was so much going on that the first couple of months of lockdown were actually quite welcome for me personally. I had not spent any time with my parents in years, I think 2 years.
The new house and everything.
In the new house. Like, I didn't even know what switch does what. I had absolutely no, because I used to come home, sleep, and before my parents were up, I used to get up and leave again. And otherwise, I was not in town. So the first couple of months were actually what I really, really needed. Staying at home, getting rest, reading, eating good, working out, spending time with my family, playing Monopoly, fighting on that, you know, binge watching shows with mama, stuff like that. And then I feel like somewhere I started getting in a place where I was hitting a creative rut where I'm like, you know, I'm not able to, because I was so used to shooting with my team. You know, I just got to a place where I'm like, you know, I don't know what to do. Like, should I worry about production? Should I worry about writing? How am I going to shoot? You know, that was a place that I reached. But I think I have past that, and now again I'm in a place where thanks to Khayali Pulao, thanks to Mismatched getting announced, and personally also I feel like I'm coming out of that, so I'm happy right now. I'm happy.
Great. I was actually curious to know, for someone who has built so much of her image and her fame by virtue of just literally being yourself. What is the lure about being an actor, in the sense, what is it that excites you with being another character now?
I think so. Technically, the first time I went on set as only an actor was on the set of Mismatched, and that was the first time I was playing a character I didn't write.
Right, exactly.
You know, so Dimple, playing Dimple for the first time, I was like, oh, I don't know anything about her because she's not a fragment of my imagination. I didn't write her. So I remember the first couple of days were very tough, where I would give a shot and instinctively I would go to Akash, who's the director. Ki, kaisa tha? Can I see it? Akash is like, you go, stand there. We are doing one more take. So I used to keep like over analyzing everything. I used to keep nagging Akash ki, you know, even when I'm not giving a take, I used to just go and stand next to him that I want to see what you're doing. Akash is like, can you just get off my back? Just go and sit, no, do your lines, do your makeup and come, no. We'll be waiting for you. So I think the first few days it was tough for me to sort of like break away from the whole creator personality and go to an actor personality, which also helps you sort of build like spend more time in working on your character and giving more time to it than having like scattered concentration.
Was there ever a moment of panic that, like you said, these are not creations of your imagination? Was there ever a moment of panic that you could be really terrible at this?
Oh, all the time. All the time. In fact, more on Khayali Pulao than on Netflix, because with Dimple's character, there were a lot of traits that were very similar between me and Dimple. But with Asha, I had, other than that one chain of thought, that one thing that linked us because we were both girls and we were both, you know, we had that. Other than that, there was nothing that I related to about Asha. Like, first of all, I'm not 17. Second of all, I have never been to Haryana before, you know. The first time I went to Haryana was for the shoot. I don't know the language. I don't have friends who speak the language. मैं, you know, ऐसे बचपन से होता है ना कि हम गाँव जाएंगे vacations में. मेरा गाँव भी नहीं था. We are from Thane in Mumbai where I used to go to school. So like I've never been to a village as, you know, a home. I had never seen anything that was Asha's life. So I feel like every minute I've spent as Asha, I was trembling and I was so scared because it is such an innocent message and it's so delicate. You know, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to underdo it. Also, at the same time, you cannot look like, oh, matlab they couldn't get anyone else. That's why they did it with her. Or, you know, she wasn't good for the character. Or, oh, she's trying too hard. Like, you know, all of this was in my mind all the time. So I think I was very nervous as Asha, extremely nervous.
Well, you did a great job. She really does stay with you. She's a character that's so far removed from what we see with you, and she really stays with you. Listen, I just recently did an interview with Ashish Chanchlani when he hit 20 million subs.
Oh, man.
I was doing like a little bit of research for that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I got a sense that YouTube in India can be a little bit of a boys' party. What are the challenges you faced as a female creator, if any?
I'll tell you very honestly, none. I'm not even trying to be modest here, or I'm not trying to put a cap of, you know, I'm above this, not at all. I'm very honestly telling you, this is one question that always stumps me when someone asks me, like, how is it to be a female creator? Like, are there any challenges? I really haven't. And I think that comes from a place where even growing up, there was never a conversation in a house that, you know, you can't do this because you're a girl, or maybe if you weren't a girl, or you could have done this, or this is what boys do, this is not what girls do. It's not a conversation that came up. Again, fortunately in my team, this was never a conversation that, you know, should we do this piece of content? Is this like a more guy thing to do? It's never a conversation. जब हमें लड़कों की जरूरत होती है, मैं मूंछ draw कर लेती हूँ. I'll be efficient. We'll do whatever we have to do. So I don't know, maybe I'm ignorant, or it's not something that crosses my radar of thought, but I really don't have any challenges. The challenges I have a lot of challenges as a content creator. I want to, there's a lot of mindsets I want to break through to get some kind of content that maybe male creators get very instinct. Maybe there are some references, there are some relatabilities that happen with men that I obviously won't know about. So maybe that I want to break, but that's why then I have a very efficient team of boys and girls who sort of helps me get perspective that I might not have single-handedly. But that's it. I mean, I don't think that has anything to do with the fact that I'm a female content creator.
Nice. You know, I was actually watching some of your videos and I figured that you can do a video about your morning routine or your lockdown thoughts and 1 million people, including me, has watched it. That is a big number of people. I want to know from you, what are the pressures of that? Like, have you ever had to rewrite or reshoot or edit something because you suddenly felt that the messaging could be problematic, or that many people are watching and taking away something from this video?
Definitely, definitely. I feel like it's a Thursday to Thursday struggle for me. I'm not gonna lie. Every Thursday a new video goes up. I go into a mini like a place in my head where I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I hope this works. I hope this, because I 100% realize the responsibility that comes with the reach and the impact. And there are so many times when I'll write a script, like I'll work on a script for a week, and then one night before the shoot I'll be like, so this doesn't work, can't do it, and then I change it. So many times our team is just like, Prajakta, make up your mind, this won't work, there's a bunch of people waiting to edit your video, you can't do this. But yeah, I feel like that is very common, where so many times I remove references. There are some things that I find funny, where I'm like, this is a joke I'll crack with my friends, but then you don't know how it's going to get interpreted, when it comes on screen. So many times there are things where even if I had like a sliver of doubt that this could go in the opposite direction, I take it off. So yeah, it happens all the time.
And how has being in lockdown changed how you create content? Because I assume your USP is how relatable you are, and your relatability comes from your experiences.
Yeah.
So has that changed how you create?
Definitely. Like I said, that whole creative rut that I went into, I think that happened because I stopped stepping out. I stopped meeting people. I stopped traveling. I stopped eating at, eating vada pav and chai हमारे नीचे वाले ठेले वाले के पास. So many times हम उसके साथ बातें करते करते, वो जो हमारे, I think his name is Gajanan or Ganesh, one of these, उनसे बात करते करते कितनी बार I used to get content ideas. Where he used to tell कि अरे उस टाइम वो टाइम ऐसा कोई आया था, उसने ऐसा बोला. He is also full बड़बड़ा. So कितनी बार I used to get content ideas, and which is why like I miss that. I miss taking a cab. I miss taking the metro to go to somewhere, because I love observing people around me everywhere I am. So definitely, I feel like that was one of the major reasons why I hit a place where I'm like, I can't think of more content right now. Maybe I'm going to give up on relatability for a while and try to dig something else. But I'm very happy that life is sort of resuming a little bit, where now I'm in a place where my team and I, on very minimal manpower, can shoot once a week. So that's okay, I guess. So now I'm getting back.
But you talked about taking the metro and standing at the chai wala down the road. What does fame feel like for you?
I love it. But I love it because, when you see all these beautiful comments under your YouTube videos, they are people, but you see a username and you see a profile picture. But when you're actually outside and you're in a metro or you're in a cab or you're having chai and you meet people for real, it's a whole different feeling. When I'm like, oh my God, yes, you're real, hug me. Don't hug. I'll just be like, thank you so much. But I absolutely love it. I feel like it's on so many days, and I've had more days than I can count during lockdown especially, where I felt very suddenly like lost, where I'm like, okay, what am I doing, which way to go, because I wasn't able to jam with my team or do anything, which we were so used to doing. That's how your brain is sort of wired to keep running. And every time I've had a day with low motivation or I felt a little directionless, it's always these comments. It's always, it is so lovely if I go to the grocery store and someone recognizes my glasses. So I wear these glasses, right? Someone will recognize them. So even though I'm in a mask, they're like, you're Prajakta. And I'm like, yes, thank you, God, that's me. I feel like it's my motivation. It's like love like this, that sort of like, I feel like, this is what I'm working for and this is what it does. So it's a major motivating factor for me.
I get these cheap thrills by asking content creators, because I always feel like digital fame is different. There's something different about the fame that you enjoy. What's the cheapest thing you've used your fame for?
Cheapest thing I've used. Oh boy. Should I be using it? I feel like I'm not using it enough.
Listen, Ashish used it for buying a free baklava in Cannes, where he said, "Ki I'll follow you on Instagram. Give me this baklava."
Oh yeah, he's crazy about baklava. I remember I was flying back from somewhere. I checked into Istanbul airport. He's like, "Bro, can you get me baklava?" I was like, I said, "Hi." Okay. So I can understand. That's totally believable that Ashish wanted free baklava.
Business class upgrades?
No. Oh no. Oh, I remember, not an upgrade, but so my friends and I, we were flying to I don't know where we were flying. I think we were going to Delhi, and we reached late to the airport. And so we were flying economy only, and it was a long line in economy, and I was just like, and then this the woman who was working at the counter, she recognized me, so she sent someone across, and they're like, "Hi." And they were like, "Hi." I said, "Hi, hi." I clicked a picture again. I said, I said, such a long line, yeah. We have a flight in like 40 minutes. Like, "Hey, come. They put us in the car. They took us through like business. And we were like there in 10 minutes. And I said, "I'm guilty, but I'm sorry." Thank you.
See, it comes to good use.
I said, "Hi." And like, I made it through and we made the flight. Yeah, otherwise we would have missed the flight. But
You
yeah,
would have been the star among the friends for sure, right?
I mean, they always call me with things like when I have like someone sending me things, like especially when Pooja sends me goodies, because Pooja Dhingra's food is mad. That's the only food I don't like sharing, but that is when I'll get the most calls. When I put a story like, "Listen, bro, I'm coming, okay?" Pooja sent a cake, no? Pooja sent a macaron. I'm like, damn it. So yeah, I am their favorite, especially when Pooja sends something, if there's food.
Nice. Finally, before I let you go, I want to ask you, there's so much of you that we see on the internet. There's so much of yourself. You're just giving and giving and giving. I'm curious to know where you draw that line, and what is it about Prajakta that we won't see on Mostly Sane?
I think I draw the line where I think there's two parts to it. Number one is there's a very clear line when the people around me are involved. Say my family, my friends. Just because I decide to open my life as a book to everybody else, I can't expect that from anybody else around me. So I feel like when I'm chilling with my friends, with my boyfriend, I think that is a line that I will draw, because he's not someone who likes being very socially, open. With my friends, I think that is one thing that's definitely.
Is that a tough line to draw because it comes so naturally to you? No,
not tough. No, I'm not. I feel like one good thing is that I'm not a compulsive sharer. I mean, I love sharing and I love talking about things that matter to me, and I will talk about what name I've given to my newest pimple, or like how my chin hair is growing and I didn't, all of that. I will talk about everything me. But it's never when I'm with family, with friends, it's never a compulsive need. Like I never reach a point where I'm like, "Guys, can I please share this? Can I just put an Insta story?" I don't reach there.
Views aayenge, no?
I also feel like as creators, it's very important for us to keep that sanity in place, especially around people whom you have grown up with, and this sort of helps me stay grounded. I mean, there are so many times when I'm recording a story and Ma is in the background and Ma gets annoyed, like, "Maine gown pehna hua hai purana wala, mere baalon mein color nahi laga hai, and you're taking me in your video. Do you have no shame? You have done nothing. You care about us." So this keeps happening. So I have to make sure that stays in place. That's number one. And I think the second line that I draw, which again is each creator to his own, I mean, whatever works for them. I personally believe that as consumers, we spend so much time on the internet and we are so immersed, we are so invested, we are so affected by whatever goes on it. Is why I consciously choose not to share my bad days. And then again, like, I mean, I totally respect creators who think that, they want to share both sides. They don't want people to have unrealistic expectations about life, that we are only happy, and that's fine. But I honestly believe that, You know, maybe somebody's having a great day and then they watch me crying over something, I wouldn't want to kill their vibe. You know what I mean? Because I know my vibe gets killed so many times when I'm scrolling. I'm like, I mean, I was having a great day. Why would you make me overthink about this now? You know? So I think these are two lines that I draw where I want people to come to my handle and go back feeling good, you know, and happy.
Nice. And I'll leave you with one last question, which I actually did want to ask you, because I've realized that content creators do this phenomenal job of making us feel like life is one big party for you. A, is it really? And B, what is the biggest myth about your job that you'd perhaps like to bust?
I am going to be very honest with you. I really, really do enjoy being a creator. It is absolutely one of my favorite things to do. It is my motivation to do everything. Like, I could wake up feeling completely like, blah, like I don't want to move, don't talk to me. But I could get on a brainstorming call with my team and I'll be fine after that. So for me, life as a creator is definitely a party. I absolutely love it. I have a wonderful team. And again, I'm not even making this up. You know, so many people ask me, Pranita, what is it? How can someone be so happy?
All the time.
How is it? I was like, why tu mere se sad kyun rahe ho? Main khush hu. And a myth that I would like to burst about content creation.
मतलब सब चीज फ्री में मिलती है क्या?
मेरे को तो कुछ नहीं मिलता है. मेरे को तो कुछ भी नहीं मिलता है. Every time I see my friends or I message them, I say, who are these people? Tell them, no, I also want free stuff. Nobody, my friends send me free things. This one, Nikhil Mumbaikar, Nikhil will send his merch. Bhuvan will send his merch every year. Pooja will send. All my friends send me everything, but nobody sends me any freebie. मुझे कुछ फ्री में नहीं मिलता है. मैं सब खरीदती हूँ.
That's a myth.
That is a myth. I don't know. Maybe creators do, because I see everyone's stories and I'm so jealous. I'm like, hey, isko ek aur lipstick mil gayi. I don't get anything. I don't get anything.
Lovely chatting with you. Thank you so much for being so real, because it's really refreshing. Thanks for being on Spill the Tea, and all the best for, should I say, the big entry into Bollywood? Is that what we're going to...
I mean, definitely on like Netflix, and I'm excited about that, because when I heard Netflix, I was just like, Netflix as in Netflix. So people are like, what other Netflix do you know? Like, yeah, true. So yeah, I mean, I'm just happy that it's sort of like a new extension and a new sort of way of life that's opening up for me as a working woman, and I am really, really looking forward to that.
Can't wait. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Hey everybody, I am Prajakta Kori, aka Mostly Sane, and I just did a fun chat with Sneha for Film Companion. If you haven't watched it, you should check it out. Make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to Film Companion, because why not?